As the college admission process starts to heat up, a lot of families are turning their attention to cost and affordability. Many have completed the FAFSA already and are concerned that their 2020 financial situations are not captured in the application process. Why is that the case?
Well, it's a really legitimate concern. Several years ago, the federal government, which is the author of the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, changed the methodology for completion here. And it indicated two things. Number one, families could complete the FAFSA as early as October 1st of the senior year. And rather than waiting for the current year to finish to look at that financial data for the family, they would look at the prior year. So for families of students applying to college this year, they're seniors this year, families will be completing FAFSAs requiring the tax return from 2019. And this is where the conundrum is revealed because 2019 looked like a much different year than 2020 does.
Yeah, to say the least. But on that note, isn't there a problem though if a family situation is looking a lot different now than it was in 2019? And how can they address the dramatic COVID related expenses and just the nature of how things have potentially changed for them during this really tough time?
Well, it is a legitimate concern, and one of the real problems is that families will say, "Well, I'll just appeal my FAFSA submission." Well, you can't do that. So, the strategy for families that have acute concerns with regard to changes in their financial circumstances, 2019 to 2020, is this: if your student is applying for admission this year, fall of 2020 to start 2021, as soon as the student's application for admission has been received by an institution, and you've received acknowledgement that the application has been counted, then I would recommend that a family contact the financial aid office at that institution with an update, documentation showing what the 2020 actual circumstances are for the family. If there's been a job loss, a layoff, severe health issues, foreclosure on a home, whatever, things like that happen. That information can be provided directly to the financial aid officer at the institution. That person has the capacity to exercise professional judgment in including new information into the assessment of the family's expected family contribution. So please understand that if you have concerns about the differential between your 2019 and your 2020 family financial circumstance, deal directly with the institutions and do it as soon as possible after the student has applied. There may not be, or there's likely not going to be any admission decision at that point, but you still want to get the information into the system for that financial aid office so that when the student is admitted, that they're able to make timely award of a financial aid offer if indeed that is warranted.
Peter, a quick follow-up to that. If families don't update their information in the FAFSA now, can they do it later?
Yes, financial aid officers at colleges and universities have the discretion of professional judgment. In other words, they can receive updated information or appeals of financial aid awards later in the process. So if the family's not been providing information in advance of the financial aid award, if sometime later on you get a financial aid award letter and things just don't look right, or you can't make it work with this, then it's possible to make an appeal. Number one, you've got to make those appeals very quickly, because if there's any opportunity for there to be a change in the way the financial aid has been read, there's a limit to the number of appeals that can be accepted by an institution. So you want to present your documentation as quickly and as thoroughly as possible after a financial aid award has been made. And you do it with information, not emotion. You appeal with information, documentation, and believe it or not, sometimes the best documentation will be the financial aid award of a competitor institution. So if your student's been admitted to college A and college B really loves college A, but financial aid is better at college B, you produce that college B financial aid award letter to college A and say, hey, can you help us out here, make level the playing field, so it makes it easier for us to make that decision. So there are ways that families can approach this later, but do not hesitate. Once a financial aid award letter comes out, if it doesn't square with what your notion of your contribution would be, then you need to be in touch with the financial aid office as quickly as possible.